Oh, hello, my wonderful, beautiful broskies, and wonderful, beautiful broskies of the Maverick Nation. I am the darkest shadow, the Maverick, the darkest Maverick, and it is time. Over 50 freaking views in like the span of like 2 seconds. Like, I, gotta double check my double check my double check of my double check of my double check of my double check, just to make sure what I was seeing was the real thing. Yes, we're back with What If Naruto. Basically, what if Naruto was banished, I guess? Banished and became the Shodime Otokage. Because let's be honest with ourselves, people. Orochimaru was not running the Sound Village to be its Kage. He was running it to be its supreme ruler of pretty much everything. Everything around it as well. That's why he acts as the freaking rice field daimyo. Oh, and about certain things, I did like how many villages I outlined with Oto. I'm going to retcon that and just put a few. How many, as in a few? Well, basically, there are 5 great shinobi nations. In the beginning, there were the 5 great shinobi nations. So, 5, basically, places that are going to be joining with Oto as a part of the alliance. Instead of a bajillion. But it still makes it pretty damn powerful. Okay, basically. I basically have here is Shodime Otokage, Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, and the rest you all Daimyo, as was in the last part, Daimyo Pakura, and the alliances with other villages being Kuso, Suna, Taki, Namino Kuni, and Spring Snow Country. Basically, Ricefield Daimyo, Pakura's 12 Shinobi Guard, Captain Oto no Inari. Yes, he has a little name for himself, Oto no Inari. Inari of Sound. And the 11 others under his command. I actually took a hell of a lot of inspiration from Bleach whenever, well, coming up with some names for people to be in the village. And that also includes the Shinobi Guard alongside Inari, or as he is known, Oto no Inari. Kumamura Inuzuka, Tozen Yumino, Unohana Uchiha, Yoriichi Morino, Renji Uzumaki, Rangiku Namikaze, Toshiro Yuki, Ikaku Sarutobi, Kenpachi Mitarashi, Rukia Hyuga, and Byakuya Hyuga. Yes, that's right. Basically, you guys might be thinking, well, that's a lot of names of, clans that are actually a part of the Leaf Village. Like, what's the deal with that? And what do you mean, Uchiha? What do you mean, Unohana Uchiha? Yeah, basically, Bleach characters. I'm just gonna have them be a part of clans and also be a part of this village. Basically, a kind of crossover of sorts. Oh, and that's just scratching the surface, technically. If we want to get into the technicals and shit. So, yeah. Now we get into the advisor, Kimimaro Kaguya, the Shinobi Council Head, Ryza Oboro, the Civilian Council Head, Karen Uzumaki. The first Anbu Head, Jugo, and second Anbu Head, Renmaru, also known as Blue Raijin Renmaru or Blue Thunder God Renmaru. And the head of the TNI, the Torture and Interrogation Department, is Sugetsu. And the elders, there are three elders. Yamamoto Uzumaki, Orohara Yamanaka, and Aizen Senju. Well, before you guys even dare, put anything in the comments about Aizen and shit, he is not gonna be pulling any of that shit that he pulled in Bleach. This is a different Aizen. And plus, if he even tried anything, Naruto has the tools to pretty much put him in his place. If you know what I mean. And basically, I scrolled down because there's more. The Shinobi and Civilian Councilwoman. Now, to put this in perspective, the Shinobi Council will be, this what its own version of the Espada and the Civilian Councilman will be this what its own version of the Vizards. And so it starts here with Yami Akamichi, Stark Inuzuka, and Lynette Inuzuka. Baragon Saratobi, Naliel 2 Korotsuji, Kia Hoshigaki, and one that I find especially fun, Ukiura Kaguya Uzumaki. And there's Noria Tora Terumi, and Grimjow Kinyuta, and Zamari Morino, and Xylopuro Haruno, and Aranyero Aburame. As for the Civilian Council, Shinji Yamanaka, Rose, Namikaze, Love Akado, Tensai Hyuga, Hiyori Yakushi, Lisa Azuki, and Hachi Akamichi. And as for that, yes. Well, you guys might be wondering, this is indeed going to be interesting. Because one of the first things, after all of the alliances were made, well, I guess you could say, a certain someone basically Grimjow would just be like, it would just be going through double doors and be like, okay, kid, what the hell do you call us all here for? And then you would just hear someone say, Grimjow, sit. And Grimjow would just be like, what? Like, and you just see them point, like, sit. As they would raise, like, killing intent. And Grimjow would just be like, okay, fine, I'll sit. And basically, there would be the Civilian Council, the Shinobi Council, which Grimjow would be a part of the Shinobi Council. And then there would be the Advisor, Kimimaro Kaguya, and the Elders, in which they would have already filed in their own places. And Naruto would just be like, let's see. Well, I'm sure you're all aware. We're basically what exactly were put at amongst the map due to our, thanks to our alliances made with Not only Kusa, but Suna, Taki, Nami no Kuni, and Spring Snow Country. Especially seeing as those missions, you all did great. I even got to see, for myself, our own Kenjutsu at work. The Resurrection Kenjutsu. A triple S rank Kenjutsu. Well, not really triple, more or less double. A double S rank Kenjutsu. Ninja Art. Resurrection. However, there is indeed one person in this room which I know they have the capability to use an even more advanced version of the Resurrection Jutsu. Not only do they have 2 levels, but it's rumored that they're working on a third one, making Resurrection Kenjutsu, turning it into Segunda and then Tercera. Yes. I would classify it as a SSS class Kenjutsu, known to only our village and possible allies, should we choose to hand over that information. As for now, you could say our village has its own scroll of sealing, and that as the Shodime Otokage, the Resurrection Jutsu will be in there for sure. And this is whenever Ukiura would speak up and be like, you're planning on putting the Resurrection Jutsu inside of the scroll of sealing of this village as an SSS class Kenjutsu? It seems that telling you about the Tessera part of the newly developed Resurrection Jutsu wasn't exactly the best of ideas, but I wanted to make sure that it was reviewed to everyone who didn't already know it already, or had some version. And Naruto would just be like, Ukiura, unless you forgot, everyone does have their own version. It's pretty much different for everybody. And technically, the Civilian Council over here has their own, I guess you could say, bastardized version of the Resurrection Jutsu, known as the Holification Jutsu. However, the time in which they're able to use it, unlike the Resurrection Jutsu, differs in between certain individuals. With the person able to use the Holification Jutsu, August being a certain someone, you know who you are. Mashiro. I believe last time I checked, it was 15 hours, somewhere along that you're able to sustain the Holification Jutsu. Said bastardized version of the Resurrection no Jutsu. And Mashiro would just be like, caught me red-handed. And Naruto would just be like, well, we can all think of certain someone, cough cough Aizen, for the creation of such a bastardized version. Though bastardized or not, it still is effective. And so I am having it to be a sort of non-secretive version. The Resurrection no Jutsu will all be inside the scroll, as well the Halification no Jutsu. However, unlike the Resurrection no Jutsu, where it will stay in the scroll, where it belongs, the Halification Jutsu can be learned by any one of you of the Civilian Council who wants to teach it to someone. The original creation of the damn thing was just a damn mishap by one of our elders here. And I definitely believe you know who you are. And Aizen would just be like, what? What? Don't look at me alone. I mean, Urahara was there too. And Yamamoto would just be like, you two. Lord Otokage, you must indeed realize that. And Naruto would be like, before you even finish that sentence, Elder Yamamoto, I am indeed aware that Urahara-san was indeed at that place at that time, whenever it happened. The activation of the Halification Jutsu across all of the Civilian Council. Such a wide-scale spread of such great and powerful reinforced chakra as what had happened by such a technique, even if it was a bastardized version of the original, it still has very condensed raw chakra. Completely, solely spiritual version, though. I find that the Resurrection and the Halification no Jutsu's ability to single out the spiritual part of all chakra and condense it down to the most pure or impure of forms in certain cases. I find it very fascinating. I believe you do as well, Urahara-san. And Urahara would just be like, damn it, he caught me red-handed. Okay, fine, I did help Aizen. But we didn't exactly 100% plan on the whole chance, like perchance thing of the Civilian Council men and women being there at the time. I mean, come on. At least give us the benefit of the frickin' doubt. Lord Otokage. Lord Shodime. And Naruto would just be like, really, Urahara? Really? And Aizen, you're no better. It's a good thing that you're part of the council whenever I need you to be. Or else I would have free reign, basically, and send you to the chopping block, both of you, for such a thing. An SSS class forbidden jutsu, and a bastardized version of such SSS class forbidden jutsu, created at the same damn time. Oh, and don't think I don't know about the Hokyo code jutsu. And I was just like, wait, the Hokyoku jutsu? How does he know about that? Or, I thought we covered that up. And Yamamoto would be like, you idiots. And Aizen would just be like, ah, crap, he figured out about the Hokyoku no Jutsu. The Hokyoku no Jutsu. Figured out about that. And Naruto's like, yeah, and I think that will be another SSS class jutsu to go in the scroll. Not letting anyone get their hands on that kind of power. I wouldn't even dare to dabble into it myself unless the village's security and safety were at risk. I don't know what the hell you two are trying to do, but it's not exactly, something that drives us anywhere forward in the healthy state of our village and rice-fueled country as a whole. If Daimyo Pakura found out about this, and I said, and Urahara would just be like, oh shit, no. Like, no, we do not need her to find out about this. And Naruto would be like, silence! If that's indeed true, then I believe this may serve its purpose, therefore dismissed. Good God, those two are gonna give me a freaking headache for all this freaking paperwork. How did they think I was possibly not going to figure out about the Hokyoku no Jutsu? And the fact that they basically split it in between each other. Okay, that's it. Breathe in. Breathe out. And Mario would just appear at like speed. And Naruto would just be like, very well, you actually made it on time this time. I made it funny. And Renmar would just be like, yes, Lord Shodime? And basically Naruto would just be like, I need you to take care of the already materialized 2/2 of the Hokyoku no Jutsu that it seems Aizen and Urahara had both performed behind my back, thinking I wouldn't notice after all this damn paperwork. There's one thing that Yamamoto is good for as an elder. It's making sure that some way or another I find out things that are being hidden from me by others. Now, I can sense that Urahara-san had good intentions. Part of me feels that I really will never actually be able to tell what's actually going on in Aizen-san's mind. And maybe that's actually for the better. Because I really don't know what I would do if I did know what was going on in that head of his. Senju or not, some things about him just rub me the wrong way. Scary shit. And my mind was just basically like, okay. Like, just like, get the hell out of there. Like, just boom. Basically, like, that would have gone as well as possible. And basically, 1 second, Urahara would basically be bitching and moaning at Aizen for being found out. And Aizen would basically be like tuning him out, like, it would just be tuning him out with, like, what else? Sake. And basically it would like be like a knock knock knock. And basically Urahara, before he had actually opened the door, he would have actually looked out the window and seen that it was Oto's Blue Rising at their door. And he did not look happy. And basically Urahara's like, psst, Aizen, that guy is here. He's gonna be on our asses. Like grasses. And Aizen's just like, huh? You said something. Like he just continues to drown him out. And then finally he's just like, if you don't open it, I'm gonna kick it down. And so basically O'Hara reluctantly opens the damn door. And just as he opens the door, he sees a foot connect to his fist. And just as it looks like, Renmaru might have actually knocked Urahara the frick out. He just sees him, like, his hand up and, like, Shaka. Like, he was just mumbling the incantation, like, oh, there's a man. Like, he was just mumbling it. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, hand up, like, Shaka. Like, boom. And basically, the next thing Urahara would know, he would be hanging upside down from chakra chains. And he'd be like, oh, this cannot mean good. Because basically, Ranmaru was taught by Naruto the ability of the chakra chains. As apparently, Naruto is actually able to. They're not exactly as good as the actual thing, but they're pretty damn close. I guess you could say, like, version 2 chakra chains. So, yeah. Basically, Urahara would realize that he is upside down, hanging from chakra chains that are attached to his limbs, holding onto him like a lifeline. And Aizen would just be like, you look funny upside down. Oh, God. Ugh. Oh, good God. Oh, if only because, seriously, this, and our gambling with that woman and our pig. Yes, that's right, I'm having Aizen be cousins with Tsunade. I mean, technically, I made him a Senju, so Tsunade just sent you, so why not? The hell not? And basically, as soon as Urahara, like, figures out, like, oh shit, cuz. No! No, hell no. Like, any buzz Urahara might have actually gotten the chance to have, just, like, got flushed down the drain and out of there like GTFO style, because he was like, he had no way wants Senju Tsunade to be an Oto, because the moment that happens, they might as well be saying their last, will and testament, their prayers, because their heads really will be on the chopping block. Or how thinking Aizen is jinxing them and like purposely jinxing them by mentioning his cousin. And Aizen just gets up and he's like, yo, Ohara, like, what's up? Why are you hanging? And Ohara would just be like, damn it, Aizen, terrible at puns as always. And Aizen would just be like, oh, hey, Mario, what's up? Wait a second. That's much better. Yo, what's up, Mario? What's up? And or I would just be like, how the hell does he even do that? You should at least have a little bit more time hangover. Like, how the hell? Like, he just drank like 8 bottles like full of sake. The frick? And that's whenever he remembers, oh yeah, that's right, Senju Hashirama like heal without even using hand signs. Probably would be able to actually come back from what should have probably been a huge ass freaking hangover. Like, no prob. Like, no death. And Aizen would just be like, what were you expecting, asshole? And basically, Rimaro would just be like rummaging through their stuff. And like, or like all the blood would be rushing to his head as he was still upside down. And, Aizen would just be like, are you looking for the hook, you frick? You looking for that? Oh, it's in the floorboards. Yeah, it's in the floorboards. And I would be like, Aizen, what the hell? And Rimaro would be like, specifically where in the floorboards, Aizen-san? And Aizen would just be like, oh, drop the formalities. I can tell you freaking hate it, Rimaro. Oh, God. Specifically over where, oh my god, I did not know you swung that way, Urahara. And Urahara would be like, what did you find? And that's whenever he would remember, oh my god, no, Aizen, do not read that. And Aizen would just be like, wait, orange book. Eat shit paradise. Oh, and wait, what's this other thing? Got the Gutsy Ninja? And, or I would just be like, Aizen, did you literally forget that you literally bought that damn thing yesterday? And Aizen would be like, oh, yeah. It appeared not to be selling all that well. Don't know why. Actually, a pretty good read. By the way, Urahara, next time I'm finding you reading this damn smut, I'm going to bury you. Don't think I can do it? And Urahara would, know that, minimal hand signs, shit, he is not. And then Aizen would be, giving him the look don't even freaking bother daring me. I will. Oh, I will. And you know it. Urahara. Kisuke Urahara. Not really Kisuke Urahara. Urahara Yamanaka. Oh, you know I'll do it, Ayamanaka. Like, screw you and your stupid mind transfer jutsu. And Oroha was like, I don't even train in the freaking clan fighting style anymore. I never really did that because I always got insulted. Why do you think I went over to Odo in the first place, dumbass? And I would just be like, Maru? Hmm. Can you please drop him outside? And Maru would just be like, oh, what? Wait, no, you're not gonna. And Aizen would just be like, just do it. Do it, and both of our problems will be easier to solve. And, or I would just be like, please, God, Maru, please have mercy. And Maru would be like, no mercy left, jackass. And you would just drop him, and automatically, just like, huddle number 90, Kurohitsugi, Black Coffin. I was like just kaboom. And it's like freaking, or I would just walk from that, like, all screwed up, like, ow. And Aizen would just be like, number one, no complaining. Number two, you need a shower. And number three, yeah, definitely need a shower. And, probably definitely a council meeting after this. Number four, if I ever catch you peeking like that stupid arrow Senin, you know what will happen to you, and no one will come to save you. Oh, and number five, all of the above plus more. Definitely more. And your would just basically be like, well, considering, and like, Aizen would just be like, you have a stash of that shit? Or a stash of that smut? And I would be like, please don't. And Aizen would just be like, oh my god. Oh, knowing you, I know where you've hidden it. Wait, no, don't! And like, Aizen would just be like, underneath the kitchen sink, how low do you have to sink in order to be this desperate? Oh, and for your information, like FYI, mofo, I ain't being merciful. Like Maru-san said, no room left. So, I should have probably predict. Okay. I'm like, okay, now. Oh, look, all these books. Throw them up in the air. And Oroha would be like, no. And Aizen would just be like, yep. And it'd be like, shing. And it's like, shing. It's like, and he would just be like, okay, now for. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Dragon Flame Bomb! He would just use like a freaking Kaden Jutsu. Like burn the freaking books like they're already torn to shreds. Like Yokosugetsu. And like freaking Rar would just be like, no. And Aizen would just be like, well, you obviously say that your smut stash has seen better days. And Oroha would be like, you think, asshole? And Aizen's like, I know, and I'm happy for it, now that it no longer exists. And basically, Aizen and Oroha would finally just now realize that freaking Oromaru was gone, having left a note, a freaking sticky note. And Aizen would have just seen it and be like, oh, this is interesting. Wait a second. We just got home from a freaking council meeting. Well, technically, this is my house. You've only been, living here because you're still trying to move everything in. After what happened, I believe one could have called it Bejudama training. And, or how it would be like, how can you be so damn calm about shit so damn serious? The freaking Shodime blew up my damn house. And he wasn't even sorry. And Aizen's just like, why should he have to be sorry? I mean, not even that he would know, seeing as he's the freaking Kage of the village, about your smut stash, and that you have more than one. Seeing as that's the last of it. Basically, freaking Orohara would just be like, shit. And Aizen would just be like, it seems a summons is in order. I just hope Yamamoto isn't angry. I hate it whenever the old fart's angry. Because he never shuts the up whenever he is angry. And Orohara's like, it's like someone else I know, but without the need to be angry. And Aizen just looks over at Orohara, and Orohara's like, you heard me, didn't you? And Aizen would just be like, question. Do you really think you're that good of a whisperer, Orohara? Because if you do, then it's sad for you to say, you're sorely mistaken. Now, okay, let's do this already. Summoning jutsu! And then Orohara would be like, wait, what the? And then he's like, you already have a summoning contract? And Aizen's like, well, duh, asshole. Like, of course I would already have a summoning contract. Why don't you? Or have you not just been, telling me, I'm like living together, and, you're not gonna tell me? So why should I tell you? And, the smoke would just start to subside. And, or I would just see, his mouth would just drop, like, what the? And Aizen would just be like, yep. It's fun how the Shodime allowing me to be a little bit more creative with myself has helped me with my work. Oh, and it said jutsu. Kuchio's no jutsu. Summoning technique. And this is the results. And you just see someone and they'd be like, "What's up? Is this the Ohara guy, the guy who reads off that era sentence you said, is smut?" And I was just like, "No more. I cleaned it up. The last of it." And a person would just be like, "Well, Ohara-san, let me introduce myself. Name's Wonderweiss." And or would just be like, "Wait, what the? You actually went with the name?" And Eisen would be like, "You have a problem with it, asshole? You can take it up with my summon. After all, I think a good, stretching of the muscles. I mean, it can't be that bad." Anyways, Wonderwise, I believe you'll be a gentleman enough. And Wonderwise would just be like, "Well, where to?" Eisen-san, or Ara-san. And Eisen would just be like, cover his mouth, like, or as he's about to object. Like, Aizen's just looking at him like, "It's a direct summon from Arcage. Do you want us to get killed by not showing up?" And Aizen would just look at freaking Wonderwise and he'd just be like, "Well, my amigo, to the Kage Tower we go." And Wonderwise would just be like, "Oh, well then, allow me." And he would just grab Aizen and Ohara's shoulders. And it would just be like, "Reverse summon!" I was like, "Shoo." And, Wonderwise would just reverse summon Aizen and Ohara. And they would be straight in the middle of the council group. Like, everyone would be there. And those two would just be like, "Well, okay." And then Wonderwise would just be like, "Well, then I guess I'll be going." Reverse summon. And Wonderwise would just disappear, like, poof. And Aurora would just give her the spot where Wonderwise was, like a look of, like, disgust. And Aizen would just be like, "What's your problem with my freaking summon? What's freaking in your freaking pants? Just because you can't do the damn jutsu, and I made my own personal summon, doesn't mean you gotta be freaking salty. Or are you just being sus like that? A susinator or something. Like, I am Urahara Yamanaka, the Susinator." And everyone in the council room could just hear that and be like, like, even the more stoic ones, like freaking Ukiora, would just be like, burst out, like, bust a freaking gut, just like the Susinator? And even other members of the civilian council would freaking just like be busting the gut too, like the Sussinator? Like, Aizen, where the hell will you come up with this shit? And Aizen would just be like, well, I had a good teacher. All the way from a very, likely very, but indeed young enough. And basically Naruto would just be like, you got rid of his Aicha Aicha? Icha, whatever the hell call it. And basically, Aizen would be like, yep, all gone, sensei. And I would just be like, why? What did I do? Why does he have to be the favorite student? And Yoruichi would just be in the background, be like, he's like, wow. Like, she would actually be there, and she would be in her cat genjutsu. Basically, the jutsu would be known as the Flash Cat no Jutsu. Yes, Flash Cat. Basically, the Flash Cat no Jutsu is a type of genjutsu which can actually materialize into a physical form of a person using the genjutsu. And so it's not really as much of a trick of the eyes as it is just a more suggestive trick of the eyes. So not a very powerful genjutsu, but definitely up there somewhat. And basically everyone in the village already knows that in terms of genjutsu, Yoruichi is actually above Kurenai. And she's known as a genjutsu mistress in her frickin' village. And Yoruichi just like claps that. Yeah, he like dwarfs Kurenai in like genjutsu prowess actually. And basically Yoruichi would just like walk over to freaking Aizen and Ohara, and Ohara would be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it in your cat genjutsu? And Yoruichi would just be like, it's called the Flash Cat no Jutsu. How is it that hard to understand for you, you stupid piece of shit? Urahara-san. She wouldn't even say Urahara-san. She would actually say Urahara, like Urahara Baka. She would literally call him a Baka. She'd be like, how is it that hard for you to understand, Urahara Baka? And I would just be like, ah, yes, good times. And Urahara would just be like, you too? And, they would just be reminiscing. And Yoruichi would finally get out of her Flash Cat Genjutsu. And it's like, boom! It's like half Genjutsu, half Hinge. Also known as Transformation Genjutsu. So basically, standing before the Otokage, the Shodime Otokage, Uzumaki Naruto, more specifically Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, are his 3 prize students. Yes, he actually did the whole, heroism thing and got himself his own team of prize students, but the most prized of them all being Aizen. I mean, dude's technically a Senju in this story, so I don't think it would be all that hard to understand why that would be the case. Flashback land, good old flashback land. It was basically the time of the basically induction of Naruto as the Shodime. The induction of the Kage. Basically, Naruto's induction in to the seat. Getting the hat, taking it. Technically, he wouldn't be taking it; he would be making it. At least having like a tailor across like from Ricefield country making it for him, even the robes as well, and basically he would have that. And I said one day, Naruto would just be thinking. This would have been a while after his inauguration as the Shodime Otokage. And he would just be thinking, and he would just remember that his Hokage Gigi, there's in Sarutobi, he technically had a team of, what you would call prize students. I mean, they're the freaking Sonic, technically, so why not? I mean, what if he wants to have some Sonic, the legendary Sonic of his own? His own prize team. And so that's basically whenever he would, his mind, that mind of his, and he would be thinking of 3 people in the village that would be perfect for the job. To basically teach them in the ways. At least more than they already possibly might know. And they were all technically given their own titles. Yes. The 3 of them would be basically, 3 of them would be Orahara no Karakura, Aizen, the prodigal genius, and Yororichi, the goddess of the Flash. And if you're wondering why I say the prodigal genius, well, that's what Aizen is. He is a genius. And why did I say Orahara? Basically, Orahara of Karakura. Well, that's basically where Naruto found him. A sort of distant place bordering around Kuso. And taking him in was kind of part of the reason why Kuso was a little bit more lenient to dig their feet straight into a treaty and actually cement it, because they actually had someone who was a previous member of their own society, their own way of life, and they were now being taught under the tutelage of their actual Kage. So this like further submitted Urahara's place. And basically, this small place, this small settlement in the middle of Kuso, was actually basically would actually be sort of mixed in between Kusonin. Basically, these Kusonin would the Kusonin of Karakura would technically have been born by parents that were actually immigrants from Kiri. Yes, Kirinin immigrated into Kuso. Would have been the parents. Yes, Kirinin immigrated into Kuso. And because of Urahara's, basically status as, once living in that settlement part of Kuso, known as Karakura, well, not long after he was basically taken under Naruto's wing, certain sources gave Naruto the information that Karakura had been taken under a sort of stronghold in the ways of people that were still loyal to the ways of the fourth Mizukage, or Yandame Mizukage, Yaguda, the Three-Tailed Centurion, the Sand Beach Centurion. So basically, it would have given Urahara extra incentive to actually train and, put his money where his mouth is. Because this is a place that he used to call home, as part of Kuso, but kind of had immigranted like previous Kirinin, was now under the stronghold of people who were still siding with the already dead Yandame Mizukage. So basically strongholding an entire settlement of, entire piece of land that's a part of Kuso, which is a part of the alliance that Oto had made with Kuso, Suna, Taki, Spring Snow Country, and Nami no Kuni. So, yeah, technically, you could say that there are a little bit of rocky terms concerning the Treaty of Affairs with Kuso, considering the occupation of still loyal to Nagara even after his death, Kirinin. So basically, that I've also been something really depressing for Urahara. A really depressing pill for him to have to swallow. And there actually would have been someone that he would have known from Karakura. Someone, a friend of his. Oh yeah, he actually had a friend by the name of Ishin, and well, around the time that Urahara would have left Karakura, he would have actually been told by Ishin that there would have been someone that the Kirinin had actually captured, that he saved, a woman that was actually part of Kiri still, but seeing as it's a long way from Kuso to Kiri, so she would have just been immigrated into Karakura while it still stood. You know, planning on raising their child there, or children. Yes. Karen, Yusu, and their little baby boy, Ichigo. And that's basically what Ishin would have told Urahara right before he was basically scooped up by Oto. And Naruto's basically. And he had not heard from Ishin since. However, he did indeed hear about several of Yager's still loyal followers having been slain by someone running around with powers similar to many jutsu that they had created within Otokage. And Urahara basically coming to the conclusion that seeing as Ishin and Urahara did indeed, share secrets with each other, and some of the jutsus that Otokage had, now were actually because of him and Ishin. Basically, this person, seeing as those that saw him and are still alive, were able to tell the tale, did indeed recognize that he was a male. Now he sort of had his own little signature jutsu, the Getsuga Tensho no Jutsu. And he also had a certain ability that could be accessed by members of the Civilian Council of Oto, the Halification no Jutsu. So, yes, that's right. Ichigo in this is actually a part of a settlement in this version of Kuso called Karakura. And eventually broke free from the stronghold of Kiri on his, basically native, neighborhood. And, was slaughtering Kirinin as everyone is speaking. And that is until, basically, Naruto was given word from Yamamoto, basically, that certain spies of their own, sort of like spy network, basically these spies pretty much realized that there was someone matching the description of the person that was seen before using this Getsuga Tensho no Jutsu. He seemed to have a very high water affinity, a very high lightning affinity. And they kind of fluctuated as to the fact, basically, no one really knew which one he had a higher affinity for, because he had a high affinity for both of them, both water and lightning, to the point to where it actually looked like the Getsuga Tensho no Jutsu might actually be a product of storm release. And something along the lines of special jutsu known as the Zanpakuto no Jutsu. This allowing the people of Odo to basically create their own sentient swords. And basically, if this person is basically allowing themselves to fuse their high water affinity with their high lightning affinity and surge it through their sword while channeling the chakra necessary, purely, purely spiritual chakra, mind you, necessary for the activation of the Zanpakuto no Jutsu, then this basically means that he might be a problem if they were to make an enemy out of him. However, they basically come up with a, you know, something of a problem fixer for that, right up in a jiffy in a hurry. Basically, whenever this person has indeed been, confirmed to have the name Ichigo and the last name of Ishin Kurosaki, basically Ichigo Kurosaki. Basically, he was found being carried by generally three individuals. And technically, they all look around to be the age of graduating, basically graduating around the time of graduating CL of their village. So, basically, Naruto hatches up the plan of integrating them into the village, if at all possible, and having them go through the academy course, or at least what would be the left of it, and possibly graduating. If that doesn't happen, they would become ninja of the Sound Village, making it an even greater military power than with just the alliances alone. And basically, eventually brought in this person with a mop of orange hair, basically super ginger. This person basically like, get your hands off me. And the person will basically be like, sir, you do indeed realize that you are in no condition to be walking on your own. And then the person next to that guy would be like, yeah, what he said. And there would be a person behind them basically be like, well, I guess now it's time to greet you know who, basically. Hi, Shodime Sama. This is the boy. Well, as for the others, their accommodations have already been made, as this boy was indeed half-passed out. I managed to have him regain some of his strength via soldier pill. However, that has indeed had its own effects. Apparently, so much of his chakra is being encompassed by being controlled through nearly spiritual embodiment of said chakra alone, that the soldier pill kind of went overdrive on his, at least what is left of his body, as from what you can see here. Clearly see here. And Naruto would just be like, you, Ichigo Kurosaki, son of Ishin. And Ichigo would just look up at him and be like, you know my father? And Naruto would just be like, got one better. One of my 3 students. Yes. I believe you would know the title. Urahara no... basically Urahara no Kayakura. And Ichigo would just be like, wait, what? Him? Urahara no Karakura? Well, that means you must have them as well. And Naruto would just be like, yep, I'm there, Sensei, all of them. This one, the Gods of the Flash, Yoriichi. And the other one, over here, my most prized student, Aizen. Don't worry. Considering who I have most trust in whenever it comes to these matters out of all my students, to make sure that you don't get yourself killed or anything. After all, we were given information that you had some sort of partial control over the Holification no Jutsu, basically the bastardized version of the Resurrection no Jutsu, both created by my students Aizen and Urahara, very foolishly I might add, as well. But regardless, I think it would be best if you allowed Aizen to take you in. Trust me. With me giving him such high praise, you know he's gotta be good. Or I'm not. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the Shodime Otokage of the Hidden Village of Sound. A certain friend of mine, Daimyo Pakura of Ricefield Country. Well then, I guess I'm gonna pass out. Blech. Aizen? Aizen would just be like, yep, okay. And Yoriichi would be like, woo! Like, just whistle, like. And I thought Sensei was kidding whenever he said that you might possibly even be faster than me in Sony no Jutsu. It turns out that sort of flip side of the coin, thinking that my Shinpo no Jutsu is faster than your Sony no Jutsu, I was a fool to think that you would have actually been able to catch up to me. Maybe I was just thinking too much of Ahara whenever I was thinking about you. And it's like, and that is one thing, dear. And he would just put his finger on her chest like Android 18 did with Vegeta and be like, do not do. And he'd just be like, And excuse me, I'm gonna try and... there we go. Basically, wherever the hell his friends, I presume, are. And Naruto would just be like, anyone know? And basically, one of the people that walked in would be like, room 301 at the, yes, room 311, the Crafty Seal Master. And Aiza would just be like, uh, Crafty Seal Master? Well, somebody's looking at conversate for something. Anyways, Ichigo-kun, let's go. The Crafty Seal Master Hotel awaits. Now, let's do this. And Naruto would just be like, and now, this just sets back plans even further. And I'm not going to talk to you about this, and I can't talk to them about this. There's certain things. And Ukuro would just be like, you mean the Chunin exams, Lord Shodime? And Naruto would just be like, very observative of you, Ukiura. And Grimjaw would just be glaring at Ukiura, just like daring him to actually continue to talk. And Ukiura would kind of just like have like a hidden like little middle finger, and Grimjaw would just like barely miss it. And Ukiura would continue to talk, basically saying that, well, about the whole thing where you sent Ichigo's friends, you do know. And Naruto's like, oh yeah, that. Look, I honestly thought, with you, the naming would be different than the Crafty Seal Master. And Ukiura would be like, may I remind you, Lord Shodime, the reason why I call it that. And Naruto would be like, oh shit, completely forgot. Yeah, out of all the people in this village, definitely got a Seal Master in you. And Grimjaw would just be like, what? Nani? You never said you were a freaking Seal Master, Ukiura. And Ukiura would just like look at him like blank, like face, like, when did I ever say I had to say anything to you about my abilities, Grimjaw? Besides, it is indeed a good idea to have a Seal Master, or two, three, for the village, security reasons, other reasons. Oh, and also the money, the income from running the Crafty Seal Master. I find it quite lovely. And Naruto will be like, oh yeah, that reminds me. Ukiura, your income, more or less, your check. And Ukiura will be like, oh, it's come already? Yes, that's right. This is around the time. You did say that around the time we were going to discuss about the tuning exams, that would be whenever my next check would come in. Well, I'll be sure to meet up with the secretary. Well then, let's do this. Pinocchio would just get his money and, GTFO back to the place and basically just be like, hello there, welcome to the crafty Sailmaster. How may I be of service? And basically, guys would be like, whoa, what? I freaking used the freaking Sonido no Jutsu, and you still got here before me. And Ukiro would be like, the less he knows about how I was able to do that, the better. So yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end this part off with just some flopping around. Nothing too serious yet. Just some fun. Anyways, how long's you gonna tell us as good as our action of my resiliency and your boys like, favorite, subscribe, click that little bell, and I'm a bounce like a switch on my blue suede shoes. Yeet and I'll eat. Misdirection. I forgot to never mind. Peace.